I beat Fortnite Only Up without mantling. Here's how I did it. Alright, so here we are. We're at the bottom, and now we're going to make it to the top. This beginning part is really easy, so I'm just going to tell you the rule. And there is only really one rule. That is, if I accidentally mantle, since we can't turn off mantle, we have to jump back down to the bottom. But I did make one exception to that rule. And that is, if I make it to the next season, then I can mantle in the previous season to get back up to that season. So let's just say if I make it to season 2, I can mantle in season 1 to get back up to season 2. But once I make it to season 2, then I cannot mantle at all. Seems fair to me, so I made that a rule. Here we are, we're at the awning part. We have to be a little bit careful here. So if we go too far into the middle, it can just push us off to the side. And these tires here, all we have to do is just walk right into them and we're good. So I chose to go left here because I personally believe it is easier, because literally all you have to do is just walk and there's a lot less jumps. But once we do that, we are onto this toilet part. So this toilet part is really simple. As long as we are to the one side of the toilets, then you'll be safe. Just jump and you're perfectly fine. Once we reach this hay part, we have to be a little bit careful on this hidden hay part right here, because if we walk a little bit too far, then we just fall off. And here we just jump to the middle and just tightrope, just like tightrope. I took it a little bit slow here just because I did not want to fall into the cracks. And once we walk across here, we pretty much make it to season 2. Alright, we're walking up to season 2. And in season 2, we have to make our first decision. Once we get past these bushes, we either go right to the skip or we go left. It is actually a really simple decision because we are actually forced to go to the skip. Because if we go left here, we are forced to mantle twice. And I'll show you guys what I mean by that right now. Okay, so here we are. This is where you mantle twice. That's once. And this is twice. We are forced to mantle twice there. Now back to the skip. Here we are. We're back at the skip. And now let's do this. We just mantled. So now we have to jump back down. See you when we get back. Alright, we're back at the skip again. And this time we are going to complete it. Alright, we made the first jump. Now we made the second jump. And let's just say this skip here is actually the hardest in this run. This jump right here, I didn't even know was possible. But what you had to do is you had to get momentum to perfectly get you over to that wood thing right there. It took me 2 hours to figure out that that was possible. And these tires right here, they're very simple. All you have to do is just run into them and just look right at them and you're good. This tire here, just sprint jump and we made it. Now we are onto the meteor, and this launcher will take us to season 5 if we just run and sprint into it like we just did. And now we are on to season 5. Season 5 is pretty simple. We just have to jump on these barrels here. Once we make it to the end, then we can jump onto this house. And now we're onto these walls. I guess you can call them brick walls or rock walls, whatever. You just want to sprint jump over to them. And take these barrels. Once we get onto this roof here, now we walk across the boat. This part at the end of season 5 is so simple. You literally cannot fall. Well, I guess you can fall. Or you can just be me and mantle like an idiot right here. Yeah. So now we have to jump all the way back down. but literally we were right there this season 6.
2 hours later.
Alright, we're back here, and this time we are not going to mantle like an idiot. Alright, we got past that part. Now, I'm going to speed this part up just a little bit because it's very boring and it's super easy. Literally, all you have to do is just stay in the middle of the road and you're perfectly fine. But if you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Since I did not complete this in one run, if you guys want to see me complete this in one run, tell me down in the comment section and I might do it. But here we are, we're at season 6. This part is trouble free. We just jump onto these floating islands, onto these purple rocks, then we just sprint into this launcher here. And now we have to sprint jump into this launcher, and we hit Kevin the cube and just hold forward, and we make it to this island. Alright, so here we are, we're on these purple rocks here. I guess you call them purple rocks, that's what I'm calling them. But we have to take these purple rocks to this next launcher. I took a little bit break there, so that's why I cut. But yeah, we jump onto this launcher, and now we make it to this graveyard. On this graveyard, I jump to this coffin, to these stairs, and back onto another coffin, and jumped onto a side of a roof thing. I don't even know what you call it. It's a side of a roof thing from now on. Now we're jumping on these roofs, and we take these stairs, make a left, and then we make a right up to these stairs. This part, I always get nervous on because you can just walk off to the side just a little bit and you're gone. Especially on this part right here, because you have to jump over to the other one. I got so nervous and I had to do it 2 more times. Walk into this next one, jump over again. Now we just have to do this 1 more time. Here we go. Made it to the next one, jump again, and now we can just jump to the side and we're good. Now we made it to season 7. This snow part right here is a little bit tricky. As long as you just stay somewhat towards the left and the middle, you're kind of good. Yeah, that one's kind of like an iffy thing. I don't really know how to explain it. But we are going to take these jumps to the throne. The throne part was a little bit tricky because we had to find a way to get to that pillar right there to the left. And the way I figured it out was to jump onto this little icicle here. And then we had to sprint jump onto the pillar. But it took me a couple tries to actually get onto this icicle, especially because I got kind of worried that I would just fall right off to the side. Alright, but we made it to the pillar, and now we just need to finish this. We just sprint jump onto this other pillar, and sprint jump onto these other 2 pillars here. This part is pretty much like a normal run. Just not like the speed runs, because you have to take your time here. I jumped onto the railing to get onto this box, which I don't think you had to do. You could just sprint jump, but I just felt more comfortable jumping on that railing. Just like here, I just sprint jumped over to this, and I took a little bit of break there, so that's why you saw it cut. And then we sprint jump onto this box here. And now we are on to this other snow part. It's kind of iffy, like I said. I don't really know how to explain it. As long as you're just into the middle of that part, you're good. But once we get to these icicles are pretty easy jumps. You just jumping on them like normal. Like that. They're just simple jumps. And then we have another little snow part. Alright, so we had to go straight here, because if we do try to jump up onto those stairs, we would have a mantle. So we go straight here and go all the way up these things. Jump onto this thing, and now we made it to season 8 with the volcano. Now this part, we're onto these pyramids, and we just jump onto these stairs. Easy sprint jumps. So now we're onto these jumps. They're not really that difficult, but I mean, you can fall on them. So that's always a scary part that you have to keep in your mind. And it always gets you. The real thing is, you just can't be nervous. You get nervous, then it gets into your head, and then you screw up even more. Now we jump onto this side and jump onto these railings. And we're going to jump onto this railing. And once we make it to this pillar, we take a little break. Because you need to have breaks every once in a while. But now we're jumping onto this pillar. And we're pretty much at the volcano. The volcano part is so simple. I mean, you can mess up on it, but it's really simple. You just get this boost here, and you just follow it up to the end. You have to make like 3 jumps. You didn't even have to jump there. I just jumped there because it's easier. I jumped here because you're supposed to. So that's 1 jump, and then you got 2 more jumps coming up here. You make a U-turn, and now here are the 2 jumps. One's here, and then one's there, which you need to have the sprint for. So you have to go fast there, and now once you get to here, you can take a break and let that speed run out, which is what I did, because I do not want to have that extra speed and jump farther than what I want to, or it just stopped for me in the middle of a jump. Now these jumps are so simple. You can just go fast like I did. We just got a few more jumps left, and we reach the next launcher. This launcher we will have to hit perfectly. We have to sprint jump into this launcher perfectly to get to the top of that crow's nest right up there. I kind of missed the mark, but I'll show you guys right here, because I somehow made this first try. I don't even know how I did it, but I did it. And then we just land onto this launcher here, and now we made it to season 9. I'm going to get rid of this marker real quick, and I can't even make it up to the side here. I don't even know what the heck is going on. But now we make it onto these metal beams. Alright, once we get past these little metal beams here, we get to a flat area, which will calm our nerves just a little bit. Just because we aren't onto these little metal beams. We have solid land right now. We're on solid land right now. We can relax for a second. But now we got to jump onto these futuristic boxes to the crane. The crane part, it sounds hard, but it's actually very simple. Because even though you have to get up onto that little cable right there, the hard cable to get up to, especially if you're mantling, but actually all you have to do for this is just walk around the side. Figured out we just have to walk around the side, just take our time, sneak around the side, and we made it on top of the cable there. Took me a little while to figure that out, but we did it. And then we just had to just run across these cables here. Pretty simple part, a little bit difficult right there, but then we got one more cable, and now we are onto the road part. Take this little road onto these vents. Hit one vent, hit another vent. Now I had to get up to this stair, which I just take this vent back up, and you just sprint jump into these stairs. Alright, here we go. We are on this triple vent here. We just jump onto the middle of them, and we take this little road up here to season X or season 10, whatever you want to call it. But we are onto this dinosaur fossil, and we have to jump onto the outside of these bones here because there is a hitbox on the inside of it, and it's a big hitbox that can easily just push you off. Just like that. Okay, we're back up here at Season X, and this time we're going to complete it, but this time we need to stay more towards the outside. Just so we don't fall off, we're going to take our time and go towards the outside, and we've made it past that part. Okay, we're good. We just run up this sword here and jump over to here, and now we jump onto these boxes, which basically brings us all the way back to the other seasons. We're just walking back through all these other seasons. So we just jump onto this awnings, and now onto these to the toilet section. And this toilet section will take us to these little hay parts. And now from this hay, we jump onto these. And we do not want to sprint jump like I just did, because I hit my head. So next one, I knew, just take my time, just do a regular jump. We're onto a little soccer field, onto these, jump over here, onto this car, and walk through this. And all we have to do is just get up onto this little roof here, this little Viking house, and we're good. And now we just walk right off. Okay. Okay, now we're back. And this time we're going to sprint jump onto this roof so that we make it down this little water and onto these roofs. Now jump onto these tires here. It's a little bit of scary part, but we're good. Now we're just going to take a little bit of a jump right there. Got me a little bit worried because we hit our head, but we're good. We're jumping onto these little statues and onto these stairs. So here we are at another throne, and we have to pretty much do the same thing, but we sprint jump onto the top of the throne. Now this part is definitely a lot scarier, especially because if you fall off, you go all the way to the bottom, which I was on top of that throne. I don't know why I just walked off, but I did. But we're back up there, and we just jump to these stairs and go up these railings. Now we're jumping onto the pillars. We're onto these boxes here, and we are pretty much at the rift to the moon. Can we do it? Oh, we just missed that part. Luckily we didn't fall down to the bottom. That would have sucked. But we got these last boxes, and we made it to the moon. We did it. Made it to the moon. We cannot fall down all the way to the bottom anymore. This moon part is so simple, but for some reason it took me about 3 minutes, which I don't even know why. It's literally so simple, but it took me 3 minutes to do. It should not have taken that long. Like this jump, you just sprint jump to it. This moon part is straightforward. It's really straightforward, but I failed it a bunch of times. But we're just jumping onto some more asteroids. We just run into these tires. And right here, we were supposed to... all we had to do was just run into those tires. But for some reason, we jumped over the tires. I don't know why. Literally, all I had to do was just run into them. But here we are. We are on to the last jump. And we did it. We have completed Only Up without mantling. Click the video in the top left corner, and I'll see you guys in the next one.